If you want to grow as a 3D artist in 2025, then you need a plan. Aspirations alone are just going to run you into a wall, and then you'll get distracted and disengaged from the work. And when then you review your progress next January, you might regret the lack of progress that you've actually made. So a specific plan is essential to your growth. I'm not going to give you a plan, because if I did, it would be generic. That plan would need to apply to every person who would be watching this video, and so it would be tailored to no one in particular. But in order for you to grow, you need a plan that is tailored to you. Otherwise, it's going to fit just about as good as that sweater that you picked up from the secondhand store for the ugly sweater competition. You're smart enough to make this plan on your own, but I do want to offer you a couple of suggestions about how to make a better learning plan for this year. First of all, learn principles, not methods. In 2024, I had the absolute privilege to teach more than 40 students in our Intro to 3D cohorts. Now here's my work, what I taught my students to make. And then here's what some of them actually made. Now these students did not just understand a specific method for animating a glass bottle in 3D, they understood the principles of 3D animation and then put their own spin on the assignment. Let me illustrate this another way. Say that you've been given an assignment to create a rust texture in Blender. You've never made one before, and you're not sure where to start. A quick search on YouTube and you've got a smorgasbord of delicious Rust tutorials to choose from. So you watch one, boom, you're done. But your next material assignment is to create a custom birthday gift wrapping paper using specific dinosaur silhouettes. Now you go to YouTube again, and YouTube reveals about 0 search results for tutorials that teach that exact method. And so what this means is that you're going to have to find adjacent tutorials about different material techniques and then translate those principles you've learned into your project. And it's that act of translation, of synthesizing these various techniques into a new method that demands that you understand the fundamental principles behind 3D. And this is the essence of learning. Because once you understand these fundamental principles of 3D design, then you will be free to create whatever you want. Now, if all you ever do is just copy methods, you'll never experience that kind of freedom in your creation. So when you are planning your personal projects for 2025, don't just learn new methods, work to understand new principles. Do a coffee mug tutorial, and then make a water bottle on your own. Follow that Rust material tutorial and then open Blender and give a wood grain a shot. Force yourself to apply principles instead of just copying methods. Second, learn more than just 3D. The best ideas for 3D projects don't come from an empty viewport. That default cube is not some kind of ancient relic that just oozes creative genius. Copying the work of creative people on YouTube or ArtStation is a fine way to learn Blender, but ultimately you are going to need to come up with your own ideas for what to make and then how to make it. And relying on something like ChatGPT just to feed you those ideas is going to hollow out that thing that makes you you. That is your attention and your perspective, your unique view on the world around you. And so work to widen your attention and broaden your perspective. Study art theory, take a clay sculpting class, watch documentaries on the history of 3D filmmaking, play dominoes with your kids, join an improv studio, build a birdhouse out of wood, read Dostoevsky or maybe Terry Pratchett, go camping, study human psychology, do something besides 3D. And you'll be amazed at how these other disciplines actually inform your art. Anchor your work in something bigger than yourself. Art for art's sake is a terrible motto. Your work must serve a purpose beyond itself for it to be worth the pain and the sacrifice that is required to make it. And if you've ever attempted to make beautiful art, then you know that work is a sacrifice. To do it with excellence demands passion, suffering. And art itself is not a god worthy of the sacrifice. But if you've made that sacrifice to create something meaningful before, then you also know that joy that it brings to you and others. And I just want to tell you that the source of that joy is not the art itself, but in an intangible something that transcends the art. Beauty transcends the art. It is something that you chase with your art, whether you are modeling a sports car or designing an alien landscape. Beauty is what you are using 3D art to try to achieve, not the other way around. It's that beauty that is creating the reaction in the viewer or in the person who you're sharing your art with. Goodness also transcends the art itself. When you see that work that you've done put smiles on people's faces, or maybe tears on their cheeks, or maybe makes them laugh, or when you see a client achieve success in their product launch because of the video that you made, When you see your work making that positive impact for good on others in the world, well, that's something that transcends your specific art project. Now, if your art just serves nothing but itself, which kind of means it's just serving you, then you're sort of like a selfish toddler hoarding toys in the corner of the nursery. But when you use your work to serve others and to serve beauty, to serve something beyond it, then guess what? Joy cascades out of your work to you and to those who benefit from it. So as you create your plan for learning 3D this year, just remember, learn principles, not methods. Learn more than just 3D, and anchor your work in something bigger than yourself. If you want more specific suggestions about how to grow as a 3D artist in this coming year, then join our Discord community. I'll have the chance there to get to know you, and I'd love to offer more specific guidance on your particular plan for growing as a 3D artist in Blender. We have a ton of resources that we have available there, and there's a thriving community of like-minded artists who are growing together as well. We would love to see you grow throughout the course of this next year. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope this is your best year yet.